Okay, so for the weekend, end of the week numbers, I did 4 loads, and one of them was to Lake Mills, Wisconsin. 2 of them were to Madison, Wisconsin, and 1 was to Green Bay. Green Bay pays the most. That's a $700 load. The 2 to Madison each paid $570, and the Lake Mills one pays $520. So $2,360 total. About 2,300 miles all in. And between the 4 loads, fuel cost is a little bit up right now. I was right at about $500 in fuel. And then tolls, I forgot to add that into the last video, but it's about $100 between the 4 loads with the deadhead to Indiana, plus the tolls going through Indiana, Illinois. So Wisconsin, you don't hit any tolls, but it's a pretty hefty toll going over the border. Can't remember exactly what they charge with the trailer, but it adds up. So so I did spend $54 getting my tires rotated this week for maintenance. The oil change was the previous week, but I did order more oil just to have it ready, and I ordered some more diesel fuel conditioner. So I spent almost $200 on Amazon there. But that spreads out over the course. I pretty much just take $100 out a week. Actually, I think I was doing 75. I bumped up to 100 a week for maintenance. So between the 500 for maintenance, the 100 for maintenance, 500 for fuel, 100 for tolls, it's at $700 off the top, and then it's $30 a week for insurance. So $730, and then with the base $785 total off the top with insurance, gas, maintenance. Oh no, actually that's wrong, because I added in the maintenance twice. So I don't have to add the $54 for the rotation, because I already take the $100 out for the maintenance. So really you're looking at $700 off the top between the fuel, the iPass, the maintenance, and insurance. $730. So $1,630 would be my net profit for the week. Obviously, you still have to factor in depreciation on a vehicle and payment, stuff like that, but I'm not gonna do that because like I've said in the past, oh, look at that, same truck as me, same color, long bed. I guess you can't really see it here, it goes ahead in the video. Platinum, same exact truck, looks like similar year too. But yeah, I'm not going to take out the monthly payment, because everybody's is going to be slightly different. Some people are driving brand new trucks. I bought a used truck. Some people are driving base model work trucks. Some people are driving platinums like myself. So I don't think that is really worth factoring in a payment. Some people are driving trucks that are paid off. And especially when you're running for companies like mine or smaller companies that don't have as strict of requirements on, an age of a vehicle, then you could run and have it paid off, have a paid off truck. So something to keep in mind. A lot of them require trucks to be like 10 years old or newer. So obviously you could have a paid off truck and be driving for some of the bigger companies because your truck could be 10 years old. But likely if the company you're driving for is strict on the condition or the age of the truck, then you're probably going to want to factor in a payment. considering, because I've been wanting to get a extra vehicle, and it's not something I'm going to do right away, and I still got to think on it, but I'm trying. I originally was thinking I would get like a car to drive, just so when I'm not doing the RV transport, I could just drive a car or something fun. But I'm kind of rethinking that. I might maybe pick up like another truck, a diesel truck that could be used for RV transport if necessary. I don't know. The only thing is, it has to be leased on to the company that I pull for in order to use it for RV transport, and then there's a cost associated on the company's end with keeping it on insurance, so I'm not sure if that's going to end up working out. But my thought process was to have a truck, a spare, maybe like an older diesel, but that's in good shape, and that way if I need to do any maintenance on this truck, I could jump in that and still run some loads or just spread the miles out, and just have an extra vehicle. But again, I don't know if it makes sense because, I don't know that from a money standpoint, the company that I lease on would want to do something like that, because essentially you'd have a truck sitting and one driving. Although I could have it just on my insurance, not leased on, as a backup. I could, run at home with it, just run around with it, or this one. And then if anything major happened to a truck, you would switch the other one on to the RV transport insurance, and be able to not skip a beat. So I don't know. I was just thinking I might still go the car route eventually. Not something I'm going to do right away. It's just something that's been on my mind. So, but I wanted to bring that up, kind of off topic of how much I made for the week. But as far as hours go, for this load, I left my house about 5:30 this morning. I should be home about 2:30, maybe even a little bit before. So that's 9 hours. It took me 9 hours last time, I think, for this one to Madison, and then as well to Lake Mills, and I want to say it was about 11 up to Green Bay because of the wind, maybe a little bit more. But so that ends up being, we'll call it 11, just if it was a little bit more, I can't remember, but I think it was right around 11 hours. So 38 hours for 4 loads, 2,360 gross, about 1,630 net. So basically like working a full-time job. It was 4 days, a little less than 40 hours total. So you can kind of figure out if that, sounds like okay money to you. We get a lot of mixed comments on it. Some people, and you're going to get that with any platform of social media. Some people leave rude comments like, it's not even worth their time or whatever. And then other people think, oh, that's very good money. Part of that is just people's situations and, what they're used to making. Maybe some people make twice what I just rambled off for what I made for the week doing this, and some people might make a third of that. So it just kind of depends on your situation, and it goes back to what I've said in the past, is you're not going to get rich off of RV transport, but it's a healthy living. You can live off of it. Again, you're not buying the Ferrari or the Lamborghini probably, but you can have a nice truck and have money left over for other expenses and stuff. And it's not physically hard work. You're sitting in your truck. You're obviously, it's more of a mental thing because you're driving, you're watching a trailer, fatigue, stuff like that. But as far as physical labor goes, other than, slapping your battery on the tongue, which I have the small battery. I recommend that to everybody if you can. It's Dan's Hitch. I think it's like $70. It's so light, so easy to mount. But I mean, that's really the only physical labor, is hooking up the trailer and then disconnecting it, and that's it. If you do your own maintenance on your truck, like I try to do a lot of it, you obviously have that. But if you're the type that does your own maintenance, then you probably, whether you're an RV transport or work in an office, you probably would be doing your own maintenance anyways. So that part of it, you're just doing probably more of it with RV transport more often, I guess, because of the amount of miles you're putting on. So but again, like I've said, it's a chill job. Like it's I've been listening to podcasts all morning. You figure out what you like to do. I don't know what other drivers do, but that's mostly what I do, is listen to podcasts. Get updated on sports and stuff like that. So, and again, you could make more money. If I would have ran a 5th or 6th load this week, instead of 2360 gross, maybe I'm above 3,000. So obviously you're throwing more miles, throwing more hours, a little bit more cost in there. But the one thing I do like, one of the things I like about RV transport is you're kind of in control of how much money you make, as long as the loads are there. If I, for whatever reason, need extra money, and I can run more loads, then I can make that extra money, versus if you work for a company that you're on a salary, you're kind of stuck, unless you're on commission or something is, you're kind of at the mercy of how much money you signed up for or contracted for. Same thing with hourly, it's maybe sometimes you have some overtime available or whatever, but at least when you're working with RV transport, if I want to make an extra $500, $1,000, whatever it is this week, I just have to put more time into it. But the money is there. As long as the loads are there, I can increase how much I have in my pocket. So that's just something to keep in mind. I think that's pretty cool. It goes back to kind of being your own business and just having kind of control of your financial income. So, but that's it for the week. It's Sunday. It's Super Bowl Sunday. I'm going to get this load dropped off and get home, watch the Super Bowl, and then I'm not sure what the plan is for next week. I got to figure that out, because both my mother and my mother-in-law are sick, so I don't know what my babysitter situation is going to be, but I'll get that figured out. Hopefully get some loads in next week, but there's potential it could only be like a 3-load week instead of a 4, so I'll figure that out though.